Hello students, welcome back to your English class. Today we are going to learn a new poem. Okay, this poem is written by Charles Edward Carey. Okay, this poem is about the complaints that a camel has. It's a very hard-working camel, but it is complaining about the food it is given, about the place where it sleeps or where it lives, and it is complaining about the its own looks. Okay, complains about its food, the food given to it, by comparing with the food given to other animals. Canary birds feed on sugar and seed. Parrots have crackers to crunch, and as for the poodles, they tell me the noodles have chickens and cream for their lunch. But there is never a question about my digestion. Anything does for me. Here, each animal are given food according to their digestion. Several foods are given for several animals. And for camel, every food is given because it digests every food. So it is given every food. So the camel is complaining that the camel can digest any food. No particular diet is followed for the camel. Next, lambs are enclosed where it's never exposed. Coops are constructed for hens. Kittens are treated to houses well heated, and pigs are protected by pens. But a camel comes handy whatever it is, wherever it's handy. Anywhere it is for me. Here, in the second stanza, it is complaining about the place where it sleeps. He complains that cats, pigs, hens, and lambs are given houses, or they are giving they are given good houses for them. He's telling that particular houses are given for lambs, hens, kittens, and pigs, but no particular house is given for camel. Camel can sleep anywhere. Any place is okay for a camel. Next, a snake is as round as a hole in the ground, and whistles are wavy and sleek. And no alligator could ever be straighter than lizards that live in a creek. But camels all lumpy and bumpy and humpy. Any shape does for me. Okay, now it is telling about its dwelling place. It's complaining about it, and it tells about the shape of every animal. It is comparing its shape with every other animals. Okay, it is uh, actually the poem means that the camel here resembles about the man or the human being who is not at all satisfied in anything that is given to him. Okay, first it complains about the food it is given with the other animals. It, it compares the food given to other animals, and then it compares about the place it is given to sleep, and then it compares about the shape of its own with the other animals. Okay, that's all about the poem. Now I will send you the question answer section through WhatsApp. Okay, let's take the next chapter. Take page number 70, chapter number 7, Northeast India. Mizoram, nestled in the mountains of northeast India, is the tiny state of Mizoram. Its scenic hills and mountains, serene lakes, deep valleys, and rippling streams tumbling down the cliffs to form spectacular waterfalls are a naturalist's delight. Its forests and thick bamboo groves are home to a variety of wildlife. Tourists are attracted every now and then by the range of wildlife found here, especially the birds. The local people of Mizoram are called Mizos, warm, generous, and welcoming. The Mizos follow a code of good values called Tlomgaina. Life in Mizoram continues to be based on traditional community life. A highlight of this lifestyle is the community dances held during the harvest festivals. Okay, this chapter is about the northeast part of India. First, we are going to learn about Mizoram. Okay, it is the northeast. Okay, it is a small state in the northeast part of India, which is surrounded by mountains. Again, there are several mountains, lakes, valleys, and rock cliffs means Parakotangal, and waterfalls are there in Mizoram, and forest and thick bamboo groves are there, and home to a variety of wildlife, especially birds. Okay, here the local people in Mizoram are called Mizos, and while welcoming, they follow a code of good values. What is it called? Tlom Tlomgena. Tlomgena. Okay, it is based on a traditional community life. Traditional means part of those beliefs, customs, or ways of life that have not changed for a long time. Okay, now what is the highlight of their lifestyle? Is the community dances. They uh, conduct community dances during the harvest festivals. In Mizoram, the term Kut means festival, and most of the festivals are related to agriculture. There are a lot of festivals there, and what they call festival as Kut. Okay, and most of their festivals are related to agriculture. Chapcha Kut is a festival that is celebrated during the period when the bamboos and trees in the forest are cut and burnt. Okay, there is a famous festival called Chapchakot. It is celebrated during the period the bamboos and trees in the forest are cut and burnt, and that time they celebrate a festival, and that is called Chapchakot. This is done to clear the land of jamming or farming. Jamming means shift cultivation. Here they cut the bamboos and forest there, and in the ash they had burned, what they will do, they will cultivate new crops there, that is called jamming. Okay, for that they are burn the trees and bamboos in the forest, and that festival is called Chapchokot. The people of Mizoram also have many unique dances and songs. One of the oldest dances of Mizoram is the Charao, which is 100 years old. This dance is performed with bamboo poles. Performers sit face to face on the ground and tap long pairs of bamboo poles, open and close in time with rhythmic beats. Young women dressed in traditional clothes dance in and out between the bamboo. The Mizos also have a rich heritage of arts and crafts. The paikong, a bamboo basket often used to carry cotton or firewood, is a good example of the artistic skills of the Mizo people. Okay, there is one unique dance. A lot of unique dances and songs are there in the performed by the people of Mizoram. One of the oldest dances of Mizoram is the Charao, in which two performers sit face to face on the ground, and there will be long pairs of bamboo poles. They tap it on the ground, open and close. Then young woman dressed in traditional dress dance in on out between the bamboo. Okay, they also have a rich heritage of arts and crafts, which is the best example for their artistic skills. Paikong. It is a bamboo basket, often used to carry cotton or firewood. Okay, it is a famous artistic skill of the Mizo people. Okay, it is called Paikong. Next is we are going to learn about Assam. Assam is the land of blue hills, lush green plains, and many rivers. Lush means a lush area has a lot of green plants and grass and trees. Okay, it is also a state with a rich and diverse culture as people of different faiths and races have lived together here for thousands of years. The Shivalik Hills lie along the northern and western edges of Assam. Numerous snow fed rivers and streams flow down the slopes of the Shivaliks and feed the emerald green paddy fields and tea estates the state is known for. There are many festivals that are unique to this region. Bihu is the most important festival of Assam. It can be broadly divided into three categories. Okay, we have learned about Mizoram now. Next is Assam. It is the land of blue hills and green plains, and there are many rivers there. Okay, and it is also a state with a rich and diverse culture. Diverse means including many different types of people or things. A lot of people with different culture are living together for more than thousands of years in Assam. It is famous for that. Okay, the Shivalik hills lie along the northern and western edges of Assam. Okay, one of the famous hills is Shivalik Hills. It lies along the northern and western edges of Assam. Numerous snow-fed rivers and streams flow down the slopes of Shivaliks and feed the emerald green paddy fields and tea estates the state is known for. Assam is also known for tea, right? And paddy fields is very famous for tea. Okay, there are many festivals that are unique to this region. There are a lot of festivals like Mizoram. Mizoram also having a lot of unique festivals, right? Like that, Assam is also having unique festivals. One of the most important festival is Bihu, and it is divided into three categories: Bihu, which celebrates the hope for a good harvest because this is the time when farmers start slow sowing. Kati Bahu, which marks the cutting and binding of crops, and Bag Bihu, which marks the season of harvesting. Okay, during the time of agriculture, they are celebrating a festival which is called Bihu, and it is mainly divided into three categories. During the uh, time of sowing, which festival they celebrate for a good harvest, in the hope of good harvest, they celebrate Bahag Bihu. It is celebrated during the time of sowing. In Kati Bahu, it is celebrated during the time of cutting and binding of crops. And Mag Bihu is celebrated during the time of harvesting. The Assamese are also known for their excellent craftsmanship. Cane and bamboo play an important role in life in Assam. They are very well known for their arts and crafts too. Mizoram is also known for arts and craft items, right? Like that, cane and bamboo are the important craft things used in Assam. Grown in abundance, cane and bamboo are used to make most of the household articles in Assamese homes. Okay, abundant means more than enough of something. A lot of canes and bamboos grow in Assam. So, most of the household articles are in Assam are made in cane and bamboo. The uses for cane and bamboo range from the construction of from household items such as baskets to the making of musical instruments and even the construction of homes. What are the things they use? So they make from cane and bamboo. They make baskets, musical instruments, and even they make construct. They use canes and bamboo for construction of homes. The Assamese people are also known for making beautiful, colorful masks. These masks are made with terracotta, metal, bamboo, and wood, and were traditionally used in folk theatre. Today, they are also sold to tourists as a source of income. They are very well known for mask making. Okay, and what the masks are made up of: terracotta, metal, bamboo, and wood, and they sell now. They are sold now to tourists as a source of income. Source of income means a way to earn money. Now we have learned about Mizoram and Assam. Next, we are going to learn about Nagaland. Nagaland is a largely mountainous state which is famous for its tropical and subtropical evergreen forests. There are a lot of tropical and subtropical evergreen forests. Evergreen forest means a forest with trees that stay green throughout the year. They are always green. Throughout the year, they are green. In every season, it looks green. It is called evergreen forest. Okay, it is. Now, Nagaland is famous for the evergreen forest. 20% of the state is covered in wooded forest, and there is plentiful fauna and flora found there. These forests are also home to the Great Indian Hornbill. What the 20% of state is covered with? It is covered with wooded forest. It is Nagaland is very famous for the evergreen forest. 20% of the state is covered with wooded forest, and there is plentiful fauna and flora. Fauna and flora means plants and animals. There are a lot of plants and animals found in the evergreen forests of Nagaland. These forests are also home to the Great Indian Hornbill. You know what is hornbill? Yes, Verambil. Okay, there are a lot of hornbill found there. The people of Nagaland belong to 16 different tribes, each with a language that is exclusive to the tribe. Exclusive means limited to only one person or group of people. Okay, there are a lot of tribes there. Means 16 different tribes are there in Nagaland. Tribes mean Gotra. Okay, there are 16 different tribes in Nagaland, and each tribe has different language. The languages are very distinct and unique to such an extent that communication between the tribes can sometimes be difficult. Today, however, English is also commonly spoken across the state, and each tribe has each different language. So in between the tribes the communication is very difficult. So now, but there is English is also commonly spoken among the state. Nagaland is also a land of festivals. Most of these festivals revolve around agriculture. In most of these states, the festivals are based on agriculture, right? Festivals are related to agriculture. The people, sorry, over 85 percent of the population of Nagaland is directly dependent on agriculture. Most of the livelihood is uh, earned from what 85 percentage of the population in Nagaland is directly. They are all dependent on 85 percentage of population is dependent on agriculture. The people live in villages that are built high up in mountains or slopes overlooking verdant valleys. Verdant means covered with healthy green plants or grass. The Hornbill Festival is the biggest festival hosted in Nagaland and is celebrated every year from 1 to 10 December at the Naga heritage village of Kisara near Kohima. The Hornbill Festival was started in 2000 as a main event to promote tourism in the state and to bring all the tribes together under one roof. Now the festival draws tourists from mainland India and around the world. The festival serves as a window to Nagaland, a way to experience the way of life and traditions of the state. Okay, this Nagaland is famous for the Hornbill Festival. It is the biggest festival which is celebrated in Nagaland. From in every year they celebrate Hornbill Festival. In which date? In every year from December 1 to 10 they celebrate Hornbill Festival at the Naga Heritage Village of Kisana near Kohima. Okay, it started in 2000. For what they started that to promote tourism in the state, and all the tribes comes together to the Hornbill Festival. They all will be together. The 16 tribes will be there to the Hornbill Festival. Now, a lot of tourists uh, comes there during the festival now. Okay, and it shows us their way of life and their traditions of their state, Nagaland. Okay, now we have learned about Nagaland, Assam, and Mizoram. Okay, now mark the sentences as true or not true. Rewrite the sentences that are not true in your notebook. Okay, now you have to mark whether it is true or not. And if it is not true, you have to rewrite it in the correct way in your notebook. Okay, take page number 74. She had been working all day on her project about the Hornbill. She had been waiting for the passports to arrive for a while when the doorbell rang. Here are two sentences given. We use the past perfect continuous tense to show that something had been happening for a period of time before something else happened. Perfect continuous tense tells about something that began in the past, that continued in the past, and stopped in the past. She had been working all day on her project over about the Hornbill. It all happened, it began in the past, right? It continued in the past and it also ended in the past. Okay, write the verbs in the brackets in the past perfect continuous tense to make complete the sentences. Okay, now there is a word given, a verb is given in bracket of each sentences. Now what you have to write it is you have to write it in the past perfect continuous tense. Okay, and you have to complete the sentences. You have to write, you have to change the verbs given in the bracket into the past perfect continuous tense and you have to complete the sentences given. Now read this and situations and make sentences from the words in the brackets. I was very tired when I arrived home. I work hard all day. Okay, now you have to, there is a sentence given there and there are some words are given in the bracket. You have to make a sentence by reading the situation using the words in the bracket. One has been done for you. You can read that and after that you have to do else of the sentences by your own. Okay, next, tourists are attracted every now and then by the range of wildlife. The words in color make up a fixed expression. Every now and then means once in a while. They visit their grandparents in Delhi every now and then. It is a set of phrases or a group of words which are fixed in a particular order. And even if the phrase is changed, it won't affect the literal meaning of that sentence. Okay, they visit their grandparents in Delhi every now and then means once in a while. Combine each of the phrases in list 1 with one word from list 2 to make a fixed expression. Then match the expression with its meaning in list 3. Okay, there are some phrases in list 1 and some words are given in list 2. You have to combine or match the phrases with in the list 1 with the words in the phrase list 2, and you have to match the expression, fixed expression with the meaning which is given in the list 3. Okay, now make sentences in your notebook using each of the fixed expressions, and after getting the fixed expressions you have to make sentences in your notebook. Okay, study these sentences and guess the meanings of the underlined expressions. Write the meanings of these expressions in your own words. Refer to a dictionary if you are not sure. Okay, you have to first read the sentences and you have to guess the meanings of. There are some expressions underlined and you have to guess the meanings of that and write the meanings of these expressions in your own words in your notebook. If you don't know the meaning, you can refer into a dictionary. Okay, you have to learn these expressions that we always mistake. Okay, this is the correct way to write. Okay, speech, a question mark or an exclamation mark may be appropriate. However, the punctuation mark does not always come at the end of the sentence. If it is not the end of the sentence, it is not followed by a capital letter. Okay, there will be a question mark or exclamation mark if it is a direct speech, right? And the punctuation mark does not always come at the end of the sentence. Here, see, don't I know you? Questioned the stranger. Here, it is not the end of the sentence, right? So, if it is not the end of the sentence, it is not followed by a capital letter, it is followed by a small letter, right? Okay, a sentence can be split inside the quotation marks. You can see that. Write these sentences again using the correct punctuation marks and capital letters. You have to rewrite these sentences using the correct punctuation marks and capital letters in appropriate places. Okay, the time lingers in the sentence. Another major festival of Mizoram is the Chapchakut, which is celebrated just before Jammai. Just before is used to connect two sentences together. Okay, here we are using time lingers. See this, just before. Okay, it is used to connect two sentences together. Christmas is a festival when people around the world celebrate. We can also use time lingers to describe a routine or to say what a person does over a period of time. Okay, we use time lingers to describe about a routine or to say what a person does over a period of time. Okay. Now here are some time lingers given in the box and you have to complete the sentences or the story. There is a story given below. You have to complete the story by using the time lingers given in the bracket or the box. Okay, write a short paragraph about a day in your life and all that you do from morning to night. Use the lingers from exercise A and add appropriate one to help compose the paragraph. Here is some help. There are some clues given, and you have to use the lingers from this exercise section, and you have to write a paragraph about a day in your life. Prakash and Ramita have escaped a dangerous situation on a train. They have been asked to appear on a news channel on television for an interview. Work in groups of 5. Work out the questions the interviewer might have and the answers to the questions. After you are done, role play the situation with your partners. Here, what you have to do is Prakash and Ramita have escaped a dangerous situation on a train. They have escaped a dangerous situation on a train, and they have been asked to appear on a news channel on television for an interview. And this is an interview with them, Prakash and Ramita. What you have to do is you have to write an interview like this. You have to start the questions with these, and you have to write the answers with this, starting with this. Okay, you can start in this way. How did you know that you were in danger? This is the question by interviewer. Prakash, we noticed smoke coming out of the air conditioning vents, so we knew something was wrong. Okay, so like that you have to write an interview with Prakash and Ramita about how they overcome the dangerous situation on the train.